Welcome to the Bluegrass Situation Show, and I'm gonna introduce you to your host, Kelly.
Ta-da! Hey everybody, welcome to Hangin and Sangin. I said, hey, we should play a theme song, and that's what. Now we have one. Cool. Welcome to the show. With me today at Hillbilly Central, Charlie Worsham.
What's up, everybody?
Wow, I love our new song.
Thanks. I'm gonna work on it a little more.
Okay.
Get the hanging and singing in there.
Yeah, fine tune it a
I
little.
like the A in singing.
Yeah, that was.
That's how I talk.
Yeah, it works, right?
Yeah.
And no G's at the end.
That's
Can't do
right.
that.
No.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
Yeah. What's funny is that if you search for Hangin' and Sangin' on iTunes for the podcast, sometimes you will get Hangin' and Bangin', which is also a something.
Different podcast.
Yes, that's like our after hours.
Yeah.
We go do with that. So, but anyway, Charlie Worsham's here.
What's up, everybody? I know I got some friends watching. I just flew back from London, and boy, are my arms tired. I'm sorry. No. A couple days ago, I was in London and saw some familiar faces, and want to say hey to them because it's about 8:30 p.m. over there right now, and
Cool.
so this is their Friday night. They're partying with us.
Party on. Stay up really late. You can watch Jason Isbell's live stream from the Ryman tonight. I won't be hosting that, but it'll be good.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I
I saw him the other night.
may be catching that show.
Yeah, I went on Monday night.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Isbell. Let's talk about you, Charlie.
That's right. Enough about other people.
Your latest album, Beginning of Things, came out earlier this year, and it's really good.
Thank you.
I'll just get that out of the way.
Thanks.
And you spent your summer touring around. I mean, you've kind of all year you've been touring around, but this summer you sort of bounced between doing arena shows, opening for Tim and Faith, did the club tour with Brandy Clark, and some, club dates on your own. How do those settings compare for you? What does each one give to you? Arena versus just a club.
Well, it all comes down to the way energy circulates in the room, and I love them both. The thing I love about a club is I can more or less make eye contact and get a direct connection with any person in the room.
Yeah.
And it's very almost instant, the exchange of energy from the stage to the audience and back. A lot of those shows I haven't been playing with a band, and I've gotten into the habit of not going with a set list.
You feel in your way.
I kind of feel my way, so I use that crowd energy to figure that out.
Yeah.
Now in the arena shows with Tim and Faith, I also played those shows just me and a guitar, and that was a big gamble, honestly.
Yeah.
But their audiences, and we played shows in Canada, in Toronto, and my brain is not 100% working. I want to say Ottawa.
That would make sense.
We did one night in Ottawa, two nights in Toronto, and considering that it was me and a guitar in front of some 20,000 people, they were incredibly gracious in terms of giving me their attention and listening. And the energy in that kind of room is less a direct thing. It's almost like a delayed, my mom, when she was younger, she played organ in the local church, and I guess the thing about playing organ in a church, even a smaller one, is it takes a second for the keys to hit the pipes and to come back. So you have to get used to like a delayed response, and that's the energy in an arena. Is it's sort of like this one giant glob of energy from all the people kind of hitting you back another 5 seconds after.
Right.
So you kind of have that 5 seconds to see if your boy, my
Slap
arms are
back.
tired flying joke did any good. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've seen you play in a few different settings, and I feel like you have the chops and the charm to sort of win over any crowd. So, and I don't go to arena shows or stadium shows because that's not the experience I want to have with music. I like the intimate thing. But that setting it take something away from me. Does it for you as a performer? Or do you feel like
it does take some things away, but it gives you other things in return. It's just a different animal. It's why I'm a gearaholic and can never have too many guitars or amps, because when you think about it, for me, in the perfect setting, I think about it, I start from the layout of the stage and the gear I'm using. And actually, for the big stages, I still prefer, if I'm playing with a band, to keep the band tight in terms of physical space, so that even if we're projecting into a bigger room, what the source is still, I can turn to someone and give them eye contact. And that's where I think the only time it really gets tricky in a bigger space is where, and I haven't experienced this yet because I haven't headlined an arena tour yet. But I have friends who have, and I've watched them. And there is a point where, like, I like to use wedge monitors. I like to just have that sound blasting, mixing with the fresh air of the room hitting my ears. But I used in-ears for a long time, and I don't want to use them again. But if I were to headline an arena tour, I would have to.
Yeah.
And I would have to have certain parts of the set pre-arranged so that the production and the lights and everything work in conjunction with, so that it's a show.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just saw the last arena show I saw was John Mayer here at Bridgestone in Nashville, and it was amazing, and he bridged both worlds really well and did a full band set, a trio set, a solo acoustic set, and I think that's kind of the goal. I think there is a way to get best of both worlds. I've yet to catch Chris Stapleton on his tour, but I imagine...
He's playing tomorrow night at Bridgestone.
Oh, I gotta go visit family in Mississippi, though.
See? Because I was like, I'm pretty sure your publicist could have hooked you up since it's
well,
his
but I want
publicist.
to, here's the thing. Shows like that, I like to get the ticket myself. I want to have skin in the game. And
That's cool.
Usually those tickets are box seats, and box seats are great and all, but box seats are sort of, to me, the audience version of having in-ear monitors. Like, I want to be in it. I want to be in the middle of it. I want to, to be pushed around a little bit. I want my feet to be sticky on the floor from spilled drinks and stuff, because that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like, my favorite place to hear music, other than the Ryman, is the Station Inn, and those are both relatively small venues.
Yeah. And I feel like it's more rare. You mentioned John Mayer, Chris Stapleton. I feel like it's more rare these days to have those sorts of mega stars who can play an arena, who are also artistically someone to look up to. Like, I feel like back in the, Dolly and Johnny and those kind of cats, there were more of them then. Do you feel that way too? Or do you have folks that you can look up to artistically and aspirationally?
Well, I mean,
Miranda.
it's less, Miranda. I mean, it's less about someone that I wouldn't. It's hard for me to judge or criticize anybody who's selling that many tickets. It may not be my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I think of it more in terms of spectacle versus just a bunch of musicians playing. Because that's more, like, I look up to artists like Bruno Mars, who can do the dance moves and do all the stuff, and Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, even though I know, like, you probably have to pick one or the other in that situation. I love them both. Sorry, both of y'all. I like both your music. But
he's just a nice guy that way.
I would never do that. I could never do that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to watch different performers. I think that the most rare thing today is, in a world where you can paint with any of the production colors and have any kind of spectacle to your liking in an arena, to say, nope, I'm going to entertain this tens of thousands of people a night crowd with 6 strings and amplifiers, and we're not going to run tracks, we're not going to run a click, we're just going to play. I do think that's a little more rare. I wish it weren't as rare, and part of me thinks we're going to get back to that a little more.
That would be cool, because I think there are some people, you among them. I think of you, I think Ashley Monroe, who are, I remember the first time I heard her Like a Rose record, I'm like, that's what country music is supposed to sound like, to my ear. Like, that's country music in this day and age. But I feel like, I think of you guys similarly, because you're great songwriters, you're great singers and players, you sort of have it all. You have the traditional influences and those roots, like the legitimate roots cred, but you're also catchy as hell hooks.
Thanks.
So, like on this new record, Cut Your Groove, Southern by the Grace of God, are those kind of songs. So those songs, that stuff should allow you to have both the hashtag live authentic is a joke that we kind of have about, like, those sorts of roots fans, but also mass appeal. But it hasn't been that easy, has it?
Well, it hasn't, but you know, the thing I love about Ashley, and I'm glad you mentioned her in particular. There are a lot of people taking country into new frontiers, and I don't criticize anyone who's bringing new ears and new eyes to our world.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. Yeah, we need both.
Yeah.
But what I will say about Ashley and what I love about her in particular and others artists like her, I mean, Brandy Clark comes to mind.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, people in the country music establishment who seem to think that women are not the main ingredient. Hello, they're creating the most compelling records. Aubrey Sellers, Miranda Lambert. I mean, I could go all day.
Natalie Hemby.
Karen and Kimberly in Little Big Town.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton, she's still making new records and
new record out today.
Exactly. So, but to take a step back, the thing about Ashley, she knows where country has been, which, in my humble opinion, makes her one of the better candidates to know where to take it next. I think if you know where the music's been, that helps you know where to take it.
Exactly.
It's not a matter of making it throwback. I think there's a difference between nostalgia and throwback. I think she's an artist that pulls nostalgia into your heart when you hear her music, but that's a different thing than making a throwback record. So I count myself among those who use knowledge of where we've been to hopefully blaze a trail to where we want it to go. And artists that I love like that, if I look back over time, we lost Glenn Campbell this year. I think about Vince Gill.
Yep.
I think about Marty Stewart. They all have these stories that took a while to get to the chapter of glory, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was the journey that made them who they are. So I kind of, although some days I don't practice it as well as I should, I do believe that there's a reason it's happening, at least for me and for artists like Ashley that I love. I wish nothing more than for Ashley to wake up tomorrow and Ashley Monroe and Brandy Clark and I are all big stars. At the same time, I think we're on the scenic route to that. I think we get more scenery.
I like that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I feel like that slow build, the other thing it does is that the fans that you develop along the way are like ride or die. Like, what I mean? Like, because they've seen you at the club level, you've created relationships with them, giving shouts out to your people that you saw in London.
Yeah.
That if you just go from The Voice or one of those things to stardom, you miss that. You miss the artist development aspect for yourself.
Absolutely. Like, I fully intend to headline Royal Albert Hall in the next 5 years and sell it out. And last spring in 2016, I was playing in a basement in Hoxton Square, and there were maybe 200 people there. And they weren't even all there for me. I was opening for Frankie Ballard, and those same people will be in the seats, and that's why it'll be such an emotional moment. And it's exactly what you're saying. It makes it have depth, and that really
sticks. Like it's a longer term because very few people get to the top and stay at the top. There's going to be a slide back down. And then like on the way back down, like those people who were at the beginning are going to still be there.
Right.
The fair weather fans, they're going to drop off. I lived in LA for a long time, and we used to have a joke that you played the coach house on the way up and you played the coach house on the way down. And that's, I don't want to say the Station Inn is the equivalent, but it's sort of a similar, like those sort of favorite, intimate, small rooms, you play them up, and then they're still there for you when you come back down.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that gives you the leg up is that you slide so effortlessly between the Infectious Groove and the Tender Ballad, and then, there's a little bit of a kitschy novelty song here or there. But you don't miss a beat. You don't slip into cliche. So I think that's working in your favor.
Well, thank you.
In my heart, at
Thank
least.
You.
So
thank you.
Keep it up, Charlie.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
First song. What you feeling?
Well, I don't know if you can see if there's anybody making requests on there with comments, but I was going to play maybe the title track to the record, do the beginning of things.
Do it.
All right. I did not write this song. This is Abe Stoklasa and Donovan Wood.
Well, they're both all right.
Yeah. Abe and I are in a trivia group together. We got third place at Edley's East a couple weeks back.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What'd you win?
$15 gift card.
Woo, buddy.
Hey, that's a barbecue nachos
Yeah.
and a couple of beers right there. All right. Well, he was born a William, but it goes by Bill. Well, he's had some big dreams, and he has them still. Well, her name's Samantha, only he calls her Sam. They grew up together right outside Birmingham. About halfway through college, with their heads in a whirl, he asked her, will you love me always? She said, I always will. And they started building a house. She's still living there now, with her half-painted porch and rusty gold ring. He only likes the beginning of things. He only likes the beginning of things. Well, Bill's getting older. He ain't settled down still. He's got a daughter out of college, and she calls him Bill. And she goes to visit her mother. Well, there's good days and bad. She only recognizes her half the time, but she's always glad. And she still recalls building the house as if it's happening now, with her half-painted porch and rusty gold ring. He only likes the beginning of things. He only likes the beginning of things. Soon after daughter's last visit, Samantha passes away. The whole family surrounded her just the other day. And he was the third one to get there, just mother and daughter and Bill. She said, Mother never blamed you, but I always will. He grabbed his coat and his hat. She ain't surprised by that. It was a half-painted porch, a rusty gold ring. He only likes the beginning of things. He only likes the beginning of things. Ooh.
Beauty.
Thank you.
Well done, Abe and Donovan.
That's right.
Putting that one together. Do you agree with... I was thinking as I was listening to your record yesterday, you also have there's a lot of soul in your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you agree with Leanne Womack that country, just like, if it doesn't have soul, it's like, it's got to have soul?
I mean, you can't hear any one line sung by George Jones and not believe that.
Exactly.
Or Merle Haggard. And And in fact, and I'm a little partial to this because I'm a native Mississippian, but the father of country music, Jimmy Rogers, I mean, he kind of is credited with creating country music. It was called hillbilly music at the time, but it was him, then it was Ernest Tubb, and then it was Hank Williams, who obviously made great leaps for country. But the thing that Jimmy Rogers did was, being a railroad worker in Mississippi with a terminal illness, he was really singing the blues.
Yeah.
And it was country, but it was the blues. And you can't untangle the two.
Right.
And those two styles both traveled up the same pathways from Mississippi up to Memphis. Sun Records, I mean, Sun Records had, when you've got Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley, but also a young Johnny Cash on the same label, there's going to be some bleeding over. So I absolutely believe that country music is a soul music.
Yeah.
And some of my favorite country records are soul-leaning country.
Yeah.
Lee Ann Womack's being one of...
Because she's the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the enlightening round now.
All right.
I'm going to name some artists. You tell me sort of your favorite thing about them, or something that, like, something you gleaned from watching them.
All right.
Chris Stapleton.
I mean, the voice, the fact that he just... Can I say a cuss word on this or no? Not really.
You can. We'll bleep it for radio.
You'll bleep it for radio. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
About all the right things.
Yeah.
He gives a shit about what matters.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
That wasn't too lightning. I'll be quicker.
No, enlightening.
Enlightening.
It's not fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
With him.
Marty Stewart.
Oh man. The standard bearer. He is the great, just a master. He is a master. And he's like, people talk about like Thomas Jefferson and had the Library of Congress and everything. He's our Thomas Jefferson in that he's a Renaissance man in all things country, a master musician, a master singer, a master songwriter, but also a master of preserving our story. And he sees value in things that have value but few see the value in, and he saved so much for us in terms of stories and oral history of our story as country music, but also the physical things. And just a master.
I was reading an interview with Mavis Staples yesterday, which she said that Marty's the only person that she's ever heard who can play like Pops. Like she's like, because Pop, and I didn't know this, Pops was his godfather. So she's like, Marty's our little brother, and he's the only one who can play like Pops. I was like, that's some high praise right there.
And a uniter, because he's welcomed into that family. He's also a member of the Lakota. He's been honored by the Lakota in the Native American lands in, I believe, South Dakota. I could be wrong. It might be North Dakota, but because he's made records that honor the music of the staple singers. He's made records that honor the story of Native Americans in our country, and he bears so much and does it in a way that unites us.
Yeah.
He brings people together. He tells stories that need being told. And he's just, when I was a kid, he came to my hometown.
I love your story about was it a fair?
Yes, and he got rained out, but we saved the bus rug. I ended up getting a tattoo of his autograph, Follow Your Heart. And check this out. I guess I'm free to announce it now. I've got a book coming out.
What?
About the tattoo and about everything with how I got it and Marty's influences and all the stories of traveling with this tattoo, and all the proceeds go to my hometown fund for music education. And Marty wrote the foreword to the book.
Awesome.
Crazy. You heard it first.
Da-da-da. We love breaking news.
Yeah.
Awesome. Merle Haggard.
This is the best we ever had. His songwriting to me, his pen is just the most important pen, other than Dolly Parton. I don't even know what to say. He was the man. He just was the man. His voice, his vibrato in his voice, what he had to say with his songs, Yeah. Yeah. There's just no. I don't even. I'm at a loss.
No.
Yeah.
Last one's Vince Gill.
Vince is my North Star.
Mm.
He's definitely my North Star. Just everything. I mean, when you look at the last three names, I mean, Vince and Marty and Merle. I don't know if everybody knows this. Merle was in Buck Owens' band for a couple weeks, and he played bass for Buck. He gave the Buckaroos their name, and he quit because Buck didn't pay well enough. But but he was a, what do they say, triple threat. I mean, he could play great, he could sing great, he could write great. But he also had worn different hats. He had been in bands for other people. Vince had been in bands for other people. Marty's been in bands. So they have this humility thing figured out. And Vince especially. And Vince just gives so much back. It's a lesson. That's why he's the North Star for me, is he's a lesson in how to be. Not just in music, but in life.
Yeah. And I didn't know this about you, that you did look up to him and he's sort of a mentor to you. And I was talking, I think it was with John Paul White when he was on. Might have been Will Hogue, one of the guys. And we were talking about that, and I said that I see you in the Vince mold. Like, I could easily see you taking over the Time Jumpers at some point. Not that he's ever going to step away. Like, he's probably going to just keel over on the stage. But,
he'll...
You
I'll gladly... I've had the
you filled in
honor of filling in for him a
Yeah.
couple times, and it was like a roller coaster ride in the best way, and
Yeah.
I'll gladly continue to do that anytime.
But see, so something's working, because I picked up on it before I even knew that.
You did.
So, well done.
Thank you.
All right. Second song.
Well, you had mentioned Cut Your Groove, so I should do that. I was thinking about doing something crazy like Take Me Drunk or whatnot, but it feels like a good little chill moment.
Yeah.
And plus, it's in the Bluegrass key.
All right, then.
Where Jimmy Martin liked to put his song so he could out-sing everybody on tenor. In between coon hunting. I have a VHS of Jimmy Martin going out. It's him touring, giving a tour of his house, and he had all these hound dogs, because he really would go out every night and treat squirrels and raccoons and all this stuff, and he named all his hound dogs after the way they howled what country music singer they reminded him of. So he had Earl and Little Jimmy and George Jones. And
nice.
Anyway, so this was for the ghost of Jimmy Martin. I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about it. Scuff mark scars on my kitchen floor, a decade of dancing dug into the boards. Every scratch is part of the story it tells. A pocket knife blade in my backyard tree, two names and a heart for the world to see. It might be crude, but it's a symphony of L-O-V-E. You got a melody, make them hear it. Shout it out loud and clear to rattle the walls of the atmosphere. Start right now, start right here, 'cause the world keeps spinning like an old Victrola, round and round, over and over. When the needle drops down, what you gonna do? Life is a record, better cut your groove. You cut your groove. Now a lot of the time you won't be on top, but when you fall off the charts, don't let it stop you. 'Cause part of the charm is a crackle and pop in the hits. There's a song for the taste of your first kiss, a tune for the blues you feel when you miss the one you love but can't be with. It's a crazy trip, it's a crazy trip. You got a melody, make them hear it. Shout it out loud and clear till you rattle the walls of the atmosphere. Start right now, start right here, 'cause the world keeps spinning like an old Victrola, round and round, over and over. When the needle drops down, what you gonna do? Life is a record, better cut your groove. You cut your groove. do. You don't have to be famous to be famous. S.I.B. silent, I'll play it. Don't let the music just fade away. You don't have to be famous to be famous. No, you got a melody, make them hear. Shout it out loud and clear till all the walls of the atmosphere. Start right now, start right here, 'cause the world keeps spinning like an old Victrola, round and round, over and over. When the needle drops down, what you gonna do? Life is a record, better cut your groove. You cut your groove.
Charlie Worsham, cut your groove off Beginning of Things. Well, I hope Royal Albert's ready for you.
Thanks. I'm just, you got to put things out into the universe.
You got to put them out there.
That's right.
Let's do it.
We'll do it.
I mean, the book tour at least should Royal Albert.
Absolutely. Even if it's just on the sidewalk outside of it. I mean, it counts, right? I think.
Totally counts.
Totally counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for all y'all do to shine a light on deserving music and artists. And I've been a fan from way back. I got the OG hat, the OG shirt.
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
All right. We like that. We like fans. Let's see. Next week, Travis Meadows. And then October 27th, we've got the Lone Bellow. And then Old Salt Union. Charlie Worsham's going to play us out.
Next week's Travis Meadows. He's a fellow Mississippian, and you're going to love his song. So tune in to Hangin' and Sangin'.
Over now from Hillbilly Central.